Am I here? Am I in the Quinn's Ideas dimension?
I guess so.
How did I get here?
Well, this looks like the land of always winter, actually.
Oh yeah. Well, still, it's in your dimension.
Yeah, that's a gateway. We're actually in my dimension.
So
That's
are we
a
safe
gateway.
from like Trolleon and stuff, or
Yeah, pretty much. He's not here right now.
Okay.
He's on silent mode.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Well, I seem to have a slight rift in the energy field behind me, but that's okay.
Don't worry about it.
I just, yeah. Hey everyone, how's it going?
Hey guys, welcome back to Winds of Winter Predictions. And we are up in here doing things. So please let us know how everything is looking and sounding. First off, just give us like a quick sound check and make sure that our voices are coming through nice and clearly, and make sure the sound is coming through. It should be 1080p, right? Because I'm paying for StreamYard, and it should be 1080p.
This will be my first 1080p appearance on the internet. This is great.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Mm.
I mean, you were 1080p in the other Winds of Winter Predictions episodes, though.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Yes.
Yeah.
We filmed those live. And thank you, everyone. By the way, this is partially called in celebration of our Battle of Ice episode hitting 100,000 views, which is awesome.
100,000.
So, tens of thousands,
It's
100,000s. So, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it. The whole series is doing great, and it's been a big success. We worked insanely hard for like 3 or 4 weeks to get the bulk of it going. We still do have a couple of stragglers, of course, which we haven't forgotten about.
yeah.
And we got a couple ideas maybe for some new ones, but today it is a free-for-all. We can talk about any Winds of Winter plotline you guys want to. So feel free, fire the questions, any plotline, ones we've talked about, ones we haven't. It's all fair game.
The sound has a bit of static. Maybe I should axe that.
It could be the air conditioning, or it could be like unplug it and plug it back in.
I don't know. That's just what one person said. I don't
Does
know.
it sound like air conditioning?
I
or
think most
static?
people said it was good.
Oh, static when our voices are loud. That might be too hot.
Oh,
sensitivity.
okay.
Just turned it up. It looks like so.
Yeah. That should be a little bit better, guys.
Okay, cool.
Should be a little better. Just
And yes, I don't have legs. That's true.
neither of us has legs. We are just like floating torsos, essentially.
My theories have no legs. They're tinfoil. Oh, wait, no, they were confirmed by the blood moon leaks. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. So, Winds of Winter. Winds of Winter.
Oh, here's a good one from Dragon Demands. Do you think that the Winds of Winter will reveal the bizarre things about the Green Men that the Long Night Extra told you? Oh, yeah. So,
I think Dave has more to say about that.
okay, so
Obviously.
I talked to somebody who was an extra on Blood Moon. One of the things they said was meteors were involved in the Long Night. That made me happy, of course. Another thing they said, though, was that there were Green Men priests, almost serving like a maesterly type of role, where there's one associated with each house. And I don't, it's, obviously there's a certain amount of consulting between George and the Blood Moon show. We can't take, two specific things from it. But the idea that the Green Men played a bigger role in ancient First Man society absolutely seems possible. Of course, we don't know what the Green Men actually are. They could just be the males of the Children of the Forest, the wood dancers, quote unquote, or a cousin species. We just don't know. But okay, so just backing up a second, bear with us, guys. We're trying to get the audio.
That should be much better. So tell me if that's better, guys. I think it should be.
Oh, was this not selected?
It was plugged in through an adapter thing. And I think that was probably what was causing the messed up sound. So that should be a lot better, guys.
All right. So like I was saying, it still sounds a little hot, they're saying. Oops. No. Oh, there is a delay. Sorry.
Yeah.
We'll just go with this for a second and see if this stables out. So Green Men, what I was saying is that in the Blood Moon trailer, the Blood Moon show, which was canceled, of course, I talked to the extra and they said Green Men were kind of a thing. They served a priestly role attached to each house, almost like a maester was, sent to each house. There's a famous, supposedly there was this wedding between a Casterly woman or Casterly man and a Stark princess that coincided with the fall of the Long Night. Sounds a little bit Azor Ahai Nissa alike. But the point is that each, the prince and the princess were each accompanied by a Green Man priest who came from each house. And so the broader idea is, what were the Green Men? Will we find out something about the Green Men, and what are they? Quinn, what do you think about the Green Men? Let's just start there.
Well, I don't know what I think about the Green Men. Um, I like the idea that there is a distinction between them and the Children of the Forest. Like that they're like kind of like a different sect, or like the mystical, or like the more mystical sect of the Children of the Forest. Because I know the World of Ice and Fire does specifically mention wise men, and it almost
The
is
green,
making a
right?
distinction.
Like the Green Seers, as
Yeah.
if there was like a class of
Mhm.
people, lots of them, instead of just one in a cave. Or
Exactly,
whatever. Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, that tends to be the way I think about it. But you probably have a lot more ideas than me because you've thought about these ideas a lot
Well,
more.
I do like Green Men. I'm known for wearing antlers sometimes on my streams and stuff. But well, so the first thing is that when the first men battled the Children of the Forest, it said that the Wood Dancers, who were like the hunters of the children, became the warriors.
Mhm.
So already we have this idea that there is at least two classes in the Children of the Forest. It's not said that the Wood Dancers are the males necessarily.
No.
However, all the children that we see in Bloodraven's cave seem to be female.
Mhm.
So it sort of makes us wonder, like, are the males different? Do they have species? What's the word when the males and females are very different in form?
I'm not sure.
There's a
but
sciencey word
yeah,
for it. But
I'm
in
sure
any
there
case,
is.
it could be that the males of the children are just bigger. They're like the Green Men. That's what the Wood Dancers are. Or they could be cousin species. Any of those ideas make sense. But clearly, if the Green Men are so closely tied to the Weirwoods, they must be related to the children in some way, right?
In some way, almost certainly. I mean, deeply tied to like nature, nature spirits, and all that junk. It's all tied in. Same idea, basically. I guess essentially they both groups would be protectors of nature.
Right. They're serving the
So-
role of dryads and elves, being custodians and caretakers of the Weirwoods.
Yeah, even if they were like different groups, they would like their interests would be more in line with each other than they would be with humans, who are like the destroyers of nature.
Absolutely. And to Dragon Demand's question, yes, we are going to find out something, because George has said that the Isle of Faces and the Green Men will come back around, or that we will see it. I forget what the exact words are. It's going to come back into play or something. And if you read the first couple of books, they talk about the Isle of Faces a lot. And the plot goes away from that talk a little bit. But when Cold Hands shows up at the wall, Bran's all like, "Oh, is he riding an elk? Is he a green man?" Blah blah blah. Like they're still talking about it. So there's two ways we could see the Green Men in the Isle of Faces. One, obviously, Bran, Weirwood Vision, or Bran goes there. It could be like the Blessed Isle, Bran the Blessed. There's some Celtic folklore which suggests maybe Bran could end up ruling from the Isle of Faces. There's also a lot of dragon people that go to the God's Eye, though.
Yeah.
Throughout history, there's 4 different incidents of either a dragon going to the God's Eye, or a dragon going to an island in the middle of a lake that's obviously meant to symbolize the God's Eye. Like Silverwing goes there after Vermithor dies at that battle or whatever. Silverwing goes and retires on a little island in the middle of Red Lake, which is a lake associated with the Children of the Forest and skin changing. So we could see Danny or John make a pit stop.
Yeah, on an island. I like the idea of a dragon on an island, because how do you get to an island? You got to go on a boat or fly.
Yeah, the boat is like, yeah, either way, it seems like there could be those magical mist barriers around the Isle of Faces that like redirect you away or something. And like Howland Reed was chosen specially and allowed to go there, but you get that idea.
I like the idea of Mira and Bran sailing into the Isle of Faces.
There-
That'd be interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The child of Howland Reed and then the Green Seer boy. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
Make more sense than Mira hauling Bran through the woods, right? On a
God,
sled.
that's ridiculous.
So
I'm down, because you got to put those boat skills to use, man. They're chronic men for a reason.
sexual dimorphism. Thank you, Matthew.
That's what we were getting at. Yeah,
We knew there was a smart person word for it somewhere.
there's smart people here.
All right. So Adam Valerian, yep, he's one of them. He visited the Isle of Faces and supposedly consulted with the Green Men right before going to sort of a penultimate dragon on dragon battle where he died heroically. So that definitely sounds like Danny or John making a pit stop, checking in with the Green Men and then going to some sort of final battle. So
I like this question a lot, because they know I like the wolf dreams a lot. They says, Quinn's ideas. Do you think we'll get more POV wolves in this next installment? And if so, how do you believe they will be used to forward the plot? George R. Martin likes to use wolf POVs when he wants to like say something but not really say it, because it's an animal, so it has a very like baseline animalistic interpretation of it. So I think you can read into it like he's like this like when Summer sees the winged snake in Fly Not Sky.
Absolutely.
It's a dragon leaving Winterfell. That's the symbol, even though it's just like fire and smoke.
And then in Dance with Dragons, George uses John's wolf dream to show us that the wolves have like a telepathic link, and he can sort of sense. I don't know if it's in Dance, maybe Storm, but it's one of Ghost's wolf dreams. Yeah, so you're totally right about that.
I definitely expect more wolf dreams, and then even maybe
The first John POV we get probably will be inside of Ghost.
That's
right?
the thing. John is inside of Ghost, so yeah, we could get a Ghost POV.
Yeah, I think George does a great job of writing those. To your point, totally.
Can you imagine opening up Winds and being like Ghost?
Yes, the white wolf, and you're like, wait,
The
is that
white
John
wolf.
or is that Ghost?
Yeah.
As I just quickly mute my phone.
Amazing. Looks like we just got a super chat popped in.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jess Lita B. What do you think about Patchface being tied to the others? He has mentioned leading the march into the sea and back out again at Hardhome. Dead things are in the water. Love you guys, by the way. So dead things in the water.
Well,
there's a lot there.
Yeah, so he's definitely catching glimpses of the others, and I think a lot of the Patchface quotes can be interpreted to be about the others.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Ravenous Reader cracked a really great bit of symbolic wordplay, which has to do with being under the sea. So we had green seers, right? And the green seers sort of inhabit the astral plane, which is kind of like a cosmic sea. The green seers, okay? Actually, then George uses the idea of a green sea to represent the realm of the green seers. So when you think about Patchface talking about under the sea this, under the sea that, think about the realm of the green seers or the Weirwood realm, the Weirwood net, all that stuff. So the under the sea, the crows are white as snow. All right. Well, the ravens are. Is it the birds or is it the crows? I think it's the crows. It is the crows.
It's the crows.
So obviously the Night's Watch are black crows, but under the sea the crows are white. This suggests some sort of relationship between the others and the original Night's Watch, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
And like I think Patchface's under the sea metaphor is like, you know how in like Irish mythology there's like this world and the other world. So
Right.
under the sea is like the topsy-turvy world,
Exactly.
the reverse of this world.
The upside down,
Mhm.
right? It's a very well-known concept. It's just right. The other realm under the sea represents that. So if you go, and in
Mirror
fact,
dimension.
on my channel, on the Lucifer Means Lightbringer YouTube channel, I had Quinn on for a Halloween episode a couple years back, amongst other people. We went through every single Patchface rhyme, and we all took a hand at trying to decipher it. So if you really like Patchface, Just Lita B, check out that Halloween Patchface Under the Sea episode on my channel. And thank you for the super chat.
And to the other part of the question, dead things in the water.
Mm.
We are actually doing a Squishers stream at some point, where we're going to talk about the Squishers in relation to that. It's going to be a lot of speculation. It's going to be fun. But yeah, dead things in the water can mean a lot of different things, I think. Right? So it could just mean White Walkers. I mean, whites coming up out of the water. Or it could mean...
Because there certainly could be corpses in the water,
Mhm.
in the shallows that are maybe rising. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what it meant.
Mhm.
But it could mean undead merlings.
It
so.
could mean undead merlins. We haven't seen yet, so we'll see. But probably not.
And as we discussed on our wall live stream last week, the Squishers built the wall out of seawater and water magic. They raised up the ocean water and then froze it in place. And there might be some Squishers embedded in the wall.
Okay.
And when it melts, they'll all attack everyone.
So we got this here.
I'm just making that up.
Another super chat. What did John and Tormund speak of before he died?
Spent a couple hours alone. Well, they were ostensibly making the plan, right, for John to give the speech and win over the wildlings and attack Winterfell, and Tormund's going to do X, Y, and Z. But what other things? Maybe was there anything else?
I don't know. It seemed pretty straightforward. I didn't seem like that was a scene where George R. Martin is like, let me hide some stuff. It seemed like, let me just cut out the tedium of discussing what they're about to do next.
That's how I took it too.
Yeah.
You know? I think the interesting question would be, what is Tormund going to do at the wall?
Mhm.
And we discussed that in our Chaos at the Wall episode. But that's one of the ones I've been thinking about more after we did the episode, Quinn, is like, it really is going to be, shit hitting the fan.
Oh, yes.
Up there with the wildlings. They're going to be mad at John's murder. And John just won the loyalty of all the wildlings and they were ready to go fight. So they're going to be mad. And
let's talk about the fact there's still a giant, a very angry giant that's like rampaging,
whipping bodies around against the wall.
and we've seen the damage the giants can do. So it's like, oh, yeah, there's a lot.
I would say that Tormund and Val are likely to end up in charge.
Mhm.
And I could definitely see Melisandre sort of wheedling her way
She's gonna have some role
into the power structure as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because like she's known that something was gonna happen to John for a while, and she's been trying to warn him, but he's not been listening.
And she can, at the very least, take care of herself.
Oh yeah,
I could see her maybe rushing in to protect his body or something, and that way Tormund's like, yeah, she's cool.
yeah.
Or
But
maybe they just be afraid of her.
here's an interesting thing. Like, I think, yeah, Melisandre's definitely staying at the wall for a while. She's not leaving anytime soon, especially once she resurrects John.
Right,
Like, at that
Shireen is
point,
there too.
yeah.
Of course, that's a difference from the show. Shireen is at the wall, and we know something. She probably is going to get sacrificed. That's been confirmed. So,
And once she, okay, what this new super chat now?
not the same one. Yeah.
So once she does bring John back, it's gonna be. I think she's definitely gonna see him in a different way. She's gonna realize in the ways that she's been wrong, because she's always saying that, like, I don't really have the power. It's the Lord of Light, and I can only do what He lets me do. So I think by raising John back up, she'll be like, oh crap, maybe he is the one that we need to actually help do some things. Depending on how that goes down.
No, it seems to be going that way with the whole idea that she's seeing lowercase Snow in her fires, and then it turns to uppercase Snow, and she keeps seeing John, and so seems like she's pretty quickly going to realize that John is the man. And it'd be funny, like Stannis gets back to the wall, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Azor High, honey, I'm home. I've got Lightbringer." She's like, "No, dude.
Actually, your fires burn low, my king."
that's
That's
true.
a show line.
Yeah.
But
Oh, so let's actually. I'm going to ask you this question, Quinn.
Mhm.
Melisandre really wants to make a shadow baby at the wall. She talks about how powerful it would be.
Shadows.
She's trying to seduce John into doing it. She was trying to seduce Davos earlier. Do you think Melisandre makes another shadow baby, and if so, with who?
Seems like it.
Does she take one last one from Stannis when he comes back?
This might be a little bit messed up, but it could be John somehow. If, like, I don't know, man. She's got potions that can fill a man with lust, and like I don't know what Melisandre's willing to do some pretty messed up stuff if she feels like this is the goal that I need to achieve.
Well, this got
And
dark
she
early.
feels like John is the one. I mean, what does Cersei say to
What?
those girls? They might be in for a bit of a raping.
Yeah, well, okay. So the question is, how functional will John be? But he might be more functional than Beric or Stoneheart. So, I mean, there's the whole: are John and Dany going to have a romantic thing? If so, John needs to be functional. So
Yeah.
maybe John will be resurrected and then make a shadow baby with that would be
Maybe she has a potion.
that would be terrible. That would be terrible. Like Dolorous Ed's like, I'll give it a run. Try me. That would be awesome. The Dolorous Ed shadow baby. That's what I'm going to put it down for.
Dolores Ed is definitely one of the funniest Night's Watch characters. He's always cracking me up.
He is terrific. Let's see how many we got on here.
320.
Thank you, everybody. Click like.
Click like if you're watching, guys.
And let's stop and do some housekeeping here. So we are here on the last day of the Tadia campaign, folks. You guys know what Tadia is by now, I would hope. But today is, in fact, the last day of the Indiegogo campaign. Behold the hardcovers.
These are so beautiful, guys. I'm so excited. Yeah, this is my graphic novel, Tadia. Check it out. We are like less than we're like 800 away or something from like 50 grand raised. So click the link in the description. Check it out. These are the hardcovers. Talk about it a little bit later, but I just want you guys to know. Last day. Check it out.
There's the link right there. You can put it on the screen.
Ray Thulu just posted it. And thanks to everyone that has supported it so far. And I love you guys so much.
Just plop it up on the screen.
Yeah.
You can just search for it. But yeah, we are almost to 50K. We are knocking on the door of $50,000 funding for Quinn's project. Thank you, everybody. I mean, I'm proud of this guy. You all are proud of him. We're all excited to see what it's going to be. I think we're all looking forward to it. So let's push this thing over. It's such a nice round number to finish on.
So close.
And I know we're going to get there. So yeah, let's do it today, guys.
Thanks, guys.
And then as far as our channels are going, we're both been cranking out stuff. I've been making tons of videos about the others. You guys know where to find me, Lucifer Means Lightbringer. YouTube channel, I've got all kinds of stuff about Night's King and Night's Queen and Great Empire of the Dawn video taken off lately. So a lot of you guys may have found me from that one.
Which I'm very, very excited about, the Great Empire of the Dawn one. Because that's been LML's theory forever. And it's like, I'm glad he finally has it on his channel. and everybody's watching it.
It's my
And
Whoopi.
it's like it's
My
great.
little baby. Yeah, so thank you. All right, so once again, we are, like I said, any Winds of Winter plot lines that you would like to hear discussed. Should we? I know we're going to do the Rickon episode. People always beg us for
People
Rickon,
do.
so let's talk about Rickon a
The
little bit.
Wild Boy.
So, what is the meaning of a Shaggy Dog story? Let's start there.
You know, that's exactly where I was going to go to. Like the name is so important. I think all the wolf names are important. So Shaggy Dog, he's just like is the Wild Boy. I think that's what that means. Like he's just kind of like he's the Stark that's like kind of been abandoned. And I know absolutely that I feel like if George R. R. Martin, well, I know George R. R. Martin gets people, but I feel like when we see Rickon again, he'll definitely feel abandoned by like his family because he was.
So Rickon, I think, compares very well actually to young Varamir Sixskins when you think about it. He grew up as a warg, and his parents abandoned him at an early age. He was only 2 when he warged, or was he was 6.
Very young.
6. And he warged into one of his family dogs without knowing what he was doing and basically killed his 2-year-old brother. So the Rickon thing could be kind of dark, guys.
It could be. Because he's a very powerful young boy, and he even has like certain prescient abilities like Bran. He has green sight, at least to some extent.
Yeah, he saw Ned's ghost in the crypts on the night he died, right?
Yeah, so that is a lot of power for a little boy to be running around in the wild possessing at a time where magic is only getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
So he's gonna do, yeah, I think George is gonna do something kind of twisted and spectacular with Rickon before he goes out. But of course the phrase Shaggy Dog story also has a double meaning, because a quote Shaggy Dog story is of course a story that goes nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people interpret that name as hanging a lantern on the idea that Rickon ultimately is not going to be central to the plot. But of course we know how Martin likes to play with those sorts of ideas. So how do you think that's going to shake out?
Central to the plot. I mean,
Right.
like everything in a George R. R. Martin story has purpose to it. And I think Rickon is kind of like might end up being like almost like an anti-Bran almost, because you've got Bran who's being directly guided. This is what you need to do. This is your purpose. And you've got Rickon who just probably feels purposeless, homeless, no family to speak of, and he's just a boy who's not really even had time to develop anything about who he is or any type of personality, really. So like he's developing that personality right now in the wild.
Yeah, he's got Osha the Wildling and whatever's going on Skagos. And we saw that George was already giving us that information before Rickon exited stage left. Like he was following Robb around. He was lonely. He didn't understand why everyone had left. So that's only going to get worse and worse. I like that idea that he's going to be like an opposite to Bran. Like, here's what happens when you take a boy and train him, to be a green seer with the Bloodraven program. And here's what happens when you just sort of set him free on a island full of wildlings and horny goats or whatever.
That cliche statement, with great power comes great responsibility, is very, very true. Bran has guidance. This is the way you use your power. But then we got that story about Varamir, like you said, and just kind of like realizing he has power and realizing what he can do and not really thinking about or considering any consequences. Because you kind of have to be told the consequences or experience them, or otherwise you're not going to know. Like, it's like what Bran is doing with Hodor.
Right.
He doesn't know that it's bad.
Right, exactly.
At some point he might realize it because he has guidance, but Rickon might start doing that if he can. I don't know if he can, but not have any inkling that it's bad and just think, oh, this is how I operate.
Yeah, Rickon might be able to. Varamir's not a green seer. He's just a skin changer, and he can body snatch people. So body snatching people seems to be a skin changer potential ability. Rickon, having gotten the wolf at such a young age and having dreams, he shows potential to be a pretty strong magic user. And the wildness of his spirit could lead to him tapping into magic in a deep way in a moment of emotion or adrenaline, if he's endangered or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, the fun thing is, of course, that Skagos has unicorns on it, and George's unicorns are, quote, enormous goats with a single horn. And in one of Ghost's wolf dreams, we see he catches a glimpse of Shaggy Dog fighting to the death with one of these things and killing it, but also taking a wound. So we know that these goats are big enough to like tussle with a dire wolf and get a couple of licks in, which means they're ferocious. and probably big enough to ride if the Skagosi maybe like aren't super large.
Yeah, I mean,
like
look,
your Jogos Nye or something.
look, here's the thing, like this last battle, like these battles in Winds of Winter and Dream of Spring are gonna be so crazy. Because George R.
I
Martin
think so.
talks about like when the children of the forest called the beast of the land to fight for them. We're gonna have dire wolves, we're gonna have
Totally think so.
unicorns, ravens. It's gonna be like full out like
Yeah, like there
nature
was
is biting back.
the original High Heart battle was one of those ones where the Green Seers called all the animals, the beasts, and yeah, you just think about knights with swords and they're trying to fight off like birds and wolves,
Eagles and shit.
It's we are gonna get some of that, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, these Stark children, these are some of I feel like these are probably some of the most powerful skin changers ever, right? Because this age of magic is unique. This age of magic is very, very unique.
Yeah, the idea that all the Starks got 6 wolves. We don't know if Bloodraven engineered that or if that was just nature doing that, but we're meant to see that as unusual and significant, no doubt. So,
shit's my name, like we said.
Rickon could be the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Yes.
Someone says, I have no idea what this is all about, but I just want to say I love all the Doom-related materials by Quinn's Ideas. Thank you so much for enjoying the channel. We're talking about Winds of Winter, George R. Martin's next Song of Ice and Fire book, and all the potential that it and plot lines and
however,
everything.
Quinn, I did see someone in the chat say Dune trailer tomorrow. Did you see an announcement about that?
I did. Look, this Dune trailer is dropping anytime between now and the 21st. That's all I know. It could come up at any time. I've been ready to react to it, to like break it down. And when it happens, I'm gonna go into a trance, and you're gonna get videos from me. So you don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about that, guys. That's definitely gonna happen. I guarantee it. Yeah, and thanks for those of you in Australia, I guess, like waking up super early to hang with us. That's very cool of you.
And thanks everyone that has sent super chats. And like I always say, the best way to support this channel is through the PayPal link in the description, because they don't take a huge chunk like freaking YouTube does. And thanks everyone that is back to Tadia too.
Yeah, guys, so we're getting ready to move at the end of this month into a permanent rancho, relaxo type of environment. So anything you send in right now will help us towards that goal, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. Another little super chat. Thank you so much. Well, Erin tried to marry Aegon. Did we talk about that? I feel like we did.
We definitely did.
Yeah, we did.
So, and we came to the conclusion that she might, if she thinks it's politically advantageous.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that probably it will seem like that, especially once he's taken Storm's End. So I think the odds are pretty good. I would say at least 75% yes.
She's very intelligent. She has good political instinct most of the time.
Yeah, I think the interaction between them is going to be pretty interesting. She's a little older.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 16. She's like 20.
Yeah.
And she's, like I said, she's learned from some of her recent experience. So that'll be an interesting dynamic.
I really like Ariane. It's travesty that she was cut from the show.
Yeah,
such a great character.
I agree with that also.
Let's see.
Here's a good one from my Discord here from Matthew. With the immense amount of stuff we think is going to happen in Winds of Winter, what's the most likely plotline or event that would get pushed back into a Dream of Spring? So the big thing that I think has to get in TWOW is the fall of the new Long Night. Mm-hmm. That's, I feel like, where we have to get to. With the rest of it, like, how far do you think Dany's going to get? Like, if the Long Night falls at the end of the book, Dany has to get to Westeros by then, right?
I think she'll be in Westeros when that happens.
I think so too.
Yeah, and I think the wall coming down is a Winds of Winter thing. Almost certainly.
Right, it would have to be.
That's like the climax, right?
Should be.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you end the book and like drop the mic and be like, all right, see you in 5 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully 5 years.
Yeah, hopefully 5 years.
That used to be the time.
That used to be, but you know, it stretches. George R. Martin is such a perfectionist. You really can't rush something like that. And I get it. With the creation of like anything, sometimes you just have to take your time with it.
So let's answer that question by saying where we think the major ones will get to. So Dany has to get to Westeros.
Yes.
Probably maybe not fight it out with Fagon and King's Landing yet. I could see that one being set up, waiting for a Dream of Spring. Mm-hmm. But Dany's just getting to Dragonstone and maybe making contact with Jon or starting to hear about the others or noticing the sun being hidden or something like that.
What do you think about this? This is kind of like cut it in though. Do you think Dany will get knowledge of the others before she gets to Westeros? Somehow?
Yeah, I
It
would.
seems like
I'd say it's at least well possible.
Mhm.
Glass between glass candles, because what's his name? Archmaester Marwyn is
Mhm.
coming there with probably a
He
glass
knows
candle,
stuff,
and he
man.
definitely knows all about the others.
Mhm.
Ultimately, I think Quaithe is trying to steer her towards that because it seems like the dream that Dany had in the third book of melting enemies armored in ice at the Trident on a dragon. Quaithe appeared right after she woke up from that dream, so that seems
Mhm.
like a Quaithe dream, which says Quaithe's
This is what
trying
you
to
have to
raise
do.
Dany up to fight the others. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think she might have an idea about that, and that's a good thought. I hadn't thought about that specific question, but it might be. But in the show, Jon has to convince her wholesale. Like, there's these things called the others and the children of the forest, and look at the cave
Which
paintings. But yeah, she
with
might know more by then.
with all that she has seen, like I felt like that was a little bit like take him a little bit more seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like House of the Undying, you've got dragons, you've been having visions, and like I'm come on.
it would make more
Seems like show book. I mean, book Danny will be more like
Yeah,
open to
and
the
like, why
idea.
would she see the blue rose growing from a chink in a wall of ice all the way back in book 2
Mhm.
if George isn't planning on like feeding her gradual clues about Jon and the wall and the
Mhm.
north and stuff? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
That kind of was an interjection in that whole question, which is like, what will be the plots on Winter? So let's get back to that.
Oh, right. So then we've got so Euron. So this is probably a really good question. I was turning this. I'm working on Euron material right now. When is he going to spring that trap on Victarion?
Victarion.
Yeah, and
That's a
how
Rhaenys
is
thing.
Euron going to show up in Slaver's Bay, or is he going to wait for Victarion to get back? When is he going to take possession of a dragon?
That's gonna be so interesting. I don't know. I feel like maybe
That's one of my biggest questions.
because Victarion is definitely toast by Winter by the end of it. I think Victarion,
Right.
Euron is axing him. I could see like maybe like Euron. Maybe Victarion blows the horn and the dragon reacts in some way or just becomes kind of docile. And Victarion is like, I control this dragon now. And so, like, he gets
on and just flies away back to Westeros.
Yeah, and he
he's
thinks
like,
he's
"Ah!"
good, but really, like,
He falls off halfway there.
Euron is controlling it or something.
Wouldn't that be a good ending for Victarion to fall off a dragon?
Because he's
Just
such an idiot, right? He's just like, oh,
I serve two gods.
something like that. I don't know exactly how it's going to go down, but I definitely see him just being like, whoops.
Well, so I definitely think that there is grounds for a natural alliance between Dany and the Ironborn.
Mhm.
When Dany gets back to Slaver's Bay, we talked about this in the Battle of Fire and also Hand of the Dragon. When Dany gets back to Slaver's Bay, seems like Tyrion, Barristan, and Victarion will be the powers that be in
Yes.
charge. And we've got Victarion's going to have the fleet that Dany needs, and he's crusty Ironborn, but I mean, whatever. Like, Barristan will explain to Dany these are the Ironborn. Here's how they are, and blah blah blah. They're not going to be the most comfortable allies, but they have a fleet. She needs a fleet, so that seems pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
I can see her, and then Victarion will either. That's the next. What's Vic going to say? Is he going to
Yeah.
Is he going to pitch himself as King of the Ironborn and just not mention Euron, or like?
See, here's yeah, that'll be interesting to see what he does.
He thinks he's
because
clever.
he wants to take Dany from Euron. See, here's the thing. I want like on Dany's perception of the Ironborn. Like this is a girl that like lived with the Dothraki, so it's not like she's not. It's not like she sees like savagery and she's just like but she does want to change it, right? So I feel like if she's like, if she feels like she can co-opt the Ironborn and be like and affect them in like a positive way, I think that'll be more like, yeah, she'll like be more into that. You know what I mean? And it's not like they're gonna come right to her and be like, here's all the ways in which we're evil. Like we do all this
they're
stuff.
just
with
going to come off
Saltfires
as
and
a
yada,
strong
yada.
navy that wants to ally with her,
Yeah.
and tough fighters, and she doesn't have a navy and all that.
But she'll recognize the horror of it eventually and be like, oh, this probably has to be a little bit different.
So the question then comes right back to the Euron thing. Like, is Euron going to show up in Slaver's Bay, or is he going to allow Victarion to think that he's made an alliance with Dany and then spring the trap on them when they all get back to Westeros?
I see it. I almost see it more like that because I feel like Euron is playing a very, very subtle game. He doesn't want to spook Victarion or anything, but he just wants to like move all the pieces in the right place and then finally be able to like strike like a snake, you know?
Yeah, and I think also that Euron's going to set up shop in Old Town and stay put there for a minute. Sit up top of the high tower, and pose like Saruman and launch his invasion of Westeros from Old Town.
It's a great place to be in, just like a tower, obviously. Like
Mhm.
you've said that before. And then also like all of the magical knowledge that's potentially hidden in the Citadel.
Yeah.
Could be very
And
useful.
I would just like to say that Robb Stark is definitely dead.
Yes.
He's not anybody but a corpse.
Yeah. I'm not really into the theory that like so and so is alive and yada 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 when there's not.
I mean, they cut his head off, they put the wolf head on his corpse, and then they paraded it around.
And then Danny had a vision about it.
Right, and there was no clues that wasn't Robb. So
yeah. All right, so we got some super chats. Thank you so much. Naiway says y'all look good together. Thanks for the convo. Thank you so much for your super chat. Words of encouragement. Thank you, John, for your 420 super chat. Very encouraging.
Good point. Good point, John.
And let's see what we got here. Brendan Somerville. Could Battle of Ice basically charge the werewood net, a bunch of phrase, and give Bran Blubber the power to raise Jon and push him from Ghost? Okay, I had this theory a real long time ago.
Oh,
called
that's cool.
Blood Trees. I think that was the one, which was about like.
I'm gonna step right off here and listen to you talk.
So my theory, Blood Trees, was basically the werewood net is powered by blood, and I thought about it in a few different ways. It could be if you think about the Children of the Forest and the werewood trees as being in a symbiotic relationship. The benefit that the children get from it is like after they die, they get to live this afterlife inside the werewood net and experience bliss and one with nature. And then the werewood net gets a supply of blood. And that would explain the bones in Bloodraven's cave. That would explain the tradition in the north of sacrificing and before the trees and letting the blood run on the trees and putting the entrails in the trees. And we've heard so many times in the series, blood is power. Only death can pay for life. And, blood equals magic power. So the idea of the werewood net being charged by blood is a really good one. And I think in that theory, I even went a little bit in the tinfoil zone. And it was like the others, the purpose of the others is literally to come and spill blood and then go back. And so the trees are fed, the trees are sustained, and then they get to live again. Because if you really get down to it, the others are we've talked about this idea and this concept before. The others are essentially the children of the forest, but more fed up. So it's nature's bite. So the children tried to fight back, but they were too weak and they couldn't. So they kind of just went and hide. But when they become these ice things, they have armor that's better than any armor that men could ever have, and weapon that's better than any weapons that men could ever have. And they really have the ability to fight back and reclaim what's theirs. So it's like you can only kick nature so many times before it's finally back. Ha, gotcha. I'm taking back what's mine. And that's really essentially the way that I see them. And I kind of rambled off a little bit there, but yeah, that's the idea. I like your idea is what I'm trying to say, that the werewood net is being charged by blood and that could affect Bran's power level because it is all directly tied. Whew. So there we go. Hopefully that wasn't too rambly for you guys.
No, I loved it. And if there is a bunch of bloodshed at Winterfell, then absolutely that could. I mean, we know that Bran can taste the blood of a sacrifice victim that happened hundreds of years in the past. So if there is concurrent sacrifices, some of that blood gets in that weirwood pond. Yeah, I mean that could have an effect and power some shit. Absolutely.
Cool.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, blood is power essentially.
It's the man out
that
of the story
for
sure.
Idea. Hello, no, this is a video game explanation. Cool. And let's see.
Ninja Prime, you see this one here? Or you want to grab it?
No, you get it.
Okay, so Ninja Prime with the super chat, thank you, says, what was the point of Quentin's story? Was it to show that the hero's journey is not all it's cracked up to be, or is he still alive? So he's definitely not alive. He was burned in front of his friends, and his friends are convinced he's dead. We saw his corpse. Barristan thinks it's him. I mean, he definitely caught on fire with Dragonfire, and that should be terminal. So, yeah, I really am not a fan of the Quentin is alive theory. And setting that aside, and of course, just disclaimer, I don't look down on anyone for liking far-fetched theories. Some people would say some of my theories are far-fetched. It's all love in the community. So if you don't like RLJ or you like some theory that I dismiss casually, know that I still have love for you and it's all good and we don't sneer at anybody. But that being said, I do think the point of Quentin's story is to show that, like, yes, it doesn't always work. You know, life isn't a song. If you make the wrong mistakes, then consequences are there. I also think he's tying into a bigger tragedy of the Dornish house. The entire House Martell thing is going to look like a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions when it's all done. And it's a little bit of commentary on Doran's parenting, because George very much likes to show the relationship between parents and children and how that happened and stuff. So,
and thank you so much for your super chat. Yeah, I think I think you're right. The point of Quentin's story is to show you that sometimes you go on a quest and you feel like you're destined for great things and you feel like you can do it and you feel like you've got dragon's blood and you can do this, and then you just get burned up by a dragon and you die horribly. So, you know, maybe like curb your enthusiasm.
yeah, if he's dead, what's the point? I just answered that question like 3 different ways.
That is the point.
Also, there's a cool foreshadowing going on because the whole Azor Hive thing is ultimately kind of an Odin-like story where it's about transcending death. We see all of the magic users in the story transcending mortality in various ways, whether it's the Undying or Melisandre or Bloodraven or Jon being resurrected, whatever happens to Daenerys. So even though Quentin dies, he's actually showing us metaphorically part of the Azor Ahai story where he meets death when he faces the dragon. When he attains the fire of the gods, he dies, and even though Quentin isn't resurrected, that's like Azor Ahai's story up to that point. So similar with Waymar, like Waymar dies when he meets the others, but he's showing us something about maybe Jon Snow when he meets the others and what will happen. And Jon will have, you know, his story will go on from there. So
and just thank you so much, Tracy, for your super chat, and also Maud Mary, thank you for
Maud
your
Mary
super chat.
and Tracy, 2 very good friends.
Thank you guys so much, and thanks everyone for watching the stream and enjoying the stream. Just want to remind everybody to stay respectful in the chat, and you won't get blocked.
That's how to do that. Yes.
But thanks, guys. And if you're enjoying the stream, please hit the like button. All right, let's see if we can find any more like good questions.
Well, I see a question going back to something we talked about on the Wall stream, which was the wall built to keep dragons south? This is an idea that came in at the end of the stream, and it has a lot of appeal because it seems to be a magical barrier for both the dragons and the whites and things. Like Alysanne is on Silverwing and tries to fly over the wall, and 3 times it won't do it. So we don't know if the dragon just doesn't want to or if it can't. But it definitely seems like the wall could be a dual barrier meant to keep, you know, both parties away from each other.
There is, without a doubt, some kind of like magical resonance that's emanating from it. And that could be a combination of like several different things. I mean, like we know that, like, we talked about this in the wall video, in the wall stream we did, but we don't know exactly what went into the construction of the wall. It could have been various types of magic, you know what I mean? And in the same way that,
plus some amount of actual mundane construction.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah. And it could be in the same way that the 5 forts are described as having this kind of aura of some kind of energy, whether it's like malevolent or just something else. So I think it's something similar to that.
Something godlike or almost demonic.
So it seems like it directly bars the magic of the others from crossing. But like a dragon can kind of cross it, but then like, I wonder if it was the wall that was stopping the dragon or if it was something further in the north. That's the thing.
Well, it sounds like, she tried to fly over the wall and it turned away. So it was either like just the coldness of the wall or that magical barrier thing.
It
one
is
or the other.
Barrier, I think.
I think it's probably the barrier.
It's the barrier.
Seems like the best storytelling device, right?
It's the barrier.
And if we think about you went into the thematic implications of a wall as something that divides people, it just makes sense that it would be a 2-way thing.
And I wonder to what extent magic is blocked, because obviously like Jon and Bran can move through and they've got magical powers, both of them. So like and the children can.
I think the Green Seer magic is the thing that can get around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. Like Jon in some ways is cut off from being able to sense Ghost when Ghost is on the other side, but Bloodraven clearly is be able to see past. So maybe that
See
green
past.
seers can see past it, but skin changers are blocked.
Maybe that's something.
It
to
could
do
be
with,
that,
for
yeah,
sure.
because Bran can see everywhere too
Bran can
from
see
the cave.
everywhere.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Otherwise, Bloodraven wouldn't be in the cave if he couldn't see past the wall. So
Quinn, your channel has renewed my love for Dune. Thank you so much.
yay!
Thank you so much for the super chat, and thanks so much for saying so. More Dune content coming soon, as always.
And if I can just say something as a very casual Dune fan to other people watching the stream that may be a Song of Ice and Fire fans, the new Dune movie looks friggin' awesome. And it's a great time to like become a Dune fan. If you haven't read the books, you can check out a couple of Quinn's videos and sort of like whet your appetite for it. But this thing looks like it's going to be a big effing deal. So yeah, I definitely would. I mean, the little bits that I've seen of it look really amazing. So I'm happy for you as a Dune fan and all you guys hardcore Dune fans. But I have a sense that a lot of science fiction and fantasy people that maybe only just saw the David Lynch movie are going to end up getting sucked into this thing and reading the books because of it. And
yeah, it's similar to a Song of Ice and Fire in a lot of ways. Just
yeah,
it's different.
Herbert
but
is a deep thinker.
Mm-hmm.
He's like I was saying on Twitter the other day. They're both book series that get at the core of like what is it to be human. What is human philosophy comprised of? Why do people act the way they do? Yeah. So these are questions that both Frank Herbert and George Martin are trying to answer.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, so what we were just talking about the wall. We were talking about the wall. Someone said something about weirwoods at the base of the wall. I've heard this theory of a few times over the years. What do you think? Did we talk about that a little bit in the last stream?
Well, we did. Well, the idea that came up at the end that didn't get developed is what about waking giants in the earth?
Yes.
Could that have something to do with the weirwoods? If there's weirwoods sort of all throughout the base of the wall, maybe they could actually bring the wall down. Or even somebody was saying maybe they catch on fire or anything like that. So
whoa, yeah, they just all like ignite from the inside. Because you imagine like, okay, if there's weirwoods inside the wall, that means like they're like growing all through it and probably like in all kinds. So it's got like roots all the way through it as like another layer of something. So it's got weirwood magic. It's got some ice magic going on, maybe, seems like.
So, and like we were saying yesterday, the thing is that the Horn of Jormungand wakes giants in the earth, but of course the weirwoods are described as pale giants. And we have the Hammer of the Waters idea, which could associate the Children of the Forest with earthquakes, even though I think there's a different explanation for that. So certainly conceivable that the weirwoods, at least, whose roots do go deep down into the earth, could shake the ground if they needed to. So
just shake and the wall, just all the ice just kind of like sloshes off, maybe.
Yeah,
it's very dramatic.
I'm dying. I basically am dying to crack the wall open and see what's inside of it at this point. Is it fused stone? Is there a little bit of weirwood? It seems like it's all going to show up there.
Could be a lot. Nope, that's actually not my puppy. That's Dave's bird.
Yeah, it's my bird's goose.
Birds. Birdie bird bird. Maybe imitating the puppy, but okay, here we go. Another super chat. Mike Veramir prologue hint that Euron and the Dusky Woman. Also, McCorrell's story in Winds. I'm not sure how that totally relates.
Okay, so Veramir body snatches Thistle. So is Euron going to teleport into
she bites her tongue.
The Dusky Woman's body in order to pull some
I don't see
magical
how he
shit.
would do that.
That would well, Euron would have to be a green seer or a skin changer to do that, which is slightly possible. Like there is a theory that he's like a failed Bloodraven pupil or something like that. So
there's some hints,
far-fetched, but not impossible. The Dusky Woman obviously is planted by Euron and is at the very least like a spy or something. So
that's what I thought at least.
Yeah, I mean it's not impossible that Euron could like use her, like take over her body for a second and do something. Yeah, I mean that's not impossible, I guess.
Some way, I guess, but yeah. Guys, like the power in the whole neighborhood just dropped.
Yep.
All the power just went out. It's so dark in here. Like, oh my God. The power just went out. Whoa, that was nuts, guys. Let me see if I can.
We are back to the Stone Age here.
We are.
You're not going to be able to put your flashlight on.
I wanted to see if I could rotate. This.
Oh, okay.
I always have my rotation on. There we go. Guys, see if we can. We are on the phones now. The power went out.
There was a big pop, and the whole block just lost power.
The whole block just lost power in the middle of our freaking stream. Whoa, that was scary. But yeah, guys, please go check out Tadia. Click the link in the description. Sorry. Yeah.
Man, I guess we could. I don't know how much longer we should really go.
I don't know. I think we're gonna have to end it, guys. We went for kind of like an hour, but I don't know if this is sustainable like this. We don't have any internet, no power. My phone is about to die. So like I don't even.
I would say here's what I'll say. Make sure you're subscribed to the Quinn's Ideas channel because we might go back live
Later
today or tomorrow. Whenever we both have ADD, we do things very on the spur of the moment. So like make sure you're subscribed and make sure you hit the notification bell.
Jesus.
And yeah, literally we're in the dark.
There was a huge pop and all the power in the whole neighborhood went out. That's the AC, that's everything. So
yeah,
it's
guys,
like,
it's like 97 in Sacramento today. So
yeah.
let's hope this gets fixed soon.
Yeah, we are so sorry, but like, yeah, we don't even know what's going on.
Let's read some of these comments.
Yeah. Uh-oh, everyone's just like, no. I know, we were having so much fun.
Yeah, we're
Jesus.
in Sacramento, by the way.
Yeah.
Sacramento area, Carmichael, technically, but whatever.
Yeah.
Where this is only temporary.
I hope that wasn't like a nuclear weapon or like Yellowstone exploding or something.
Just a transformer. So probably be a couple hours, but yeah, if it's not too late, guys, we probably will try to pop in later tonight and talk again. But of course, you can always catch these after the fact. And main thing is just make sure you're subscribed so you get the notification.
That was kind of fun. See, this is the long night. The long night just happened. That's the number one prediction for the Winds of Winter. The long night just happened.
There you go. There's your prediction.
Please check out Tadia. I hope we can still get to 50K. We're really close, and we're hoping to push it with the stream. But yeah, gonna have to end it. So yeah, please check out my book Tadia, and thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah, Tadia, guys, looks like some really like dark fairy tale witch related kind of stuff. It's not quite medieval. It's not like it's not like the same fantasy environment that everybody writes in. It's something a little different. And the more Quinn tells me about it, the more I'm like, oh, that's a little unexpected. That's kind of, I didn't know about that. So like, definitely get in on this. This is going to be a big deal. This is only the first of 3 parts of the Tadia story. So as soon as this one's done, it's going to be on part 2. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. You definitely want to get on this early and get the original book. There's all these cool packages and extra stuff, bookmarks and stickers. You got all kinds of crap, right?
There's a lot of stuff that ships with every book that gets.
And the prices are super low too. So guys, seriously, definitely help push my man Quinn over here over 50K.
Thank you guys.
And thank you guys for joining us. And like I said, we'll be back maybe later tonight or tomorrow, and we'll be doing it again.
And anyone that just came in, the power went out. Entire block out of power. Phone's dying in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
I'm so sorry.
That's so wild.
I know.